Sports Park. It still will feature the best sprint car racing in Canada and some of the best NHRA drag racing in Canada. Tonight, Trilenium Industries is proud to bring you exclusive television coverage of a race that hasn't been run in Edmonton in over 20 years. Get ready, race fans, for Fox Hunt 2000 only on Shaw Motorsports. This historic broadcast here on Shaw Motorsports is Trilenium Industries Championship drag racing and exclusive coverage of the 2000 Fox Hunt here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. I'm your track announcer, Gord Craig. Stan Ankers is going to be joining me up in the broadcast booth here in just a couple of moments. Just waiting in the concession line right now because, of course, you do need refreshments before you watch a drag race event, and I'm going to do that right now. And we're going to get the race underway here in just a few moments' time. And hi there, need a Coke and a cheeseburger. It's been 20 years, race fans, since we have had a drag race event called the Fox Hunt here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and it is back here tonight. And one of the stars of the show is here, and it's a history-making event for him as well. Stan Ankers is talking with him in the pits right now. Stan.
Thank you very much, Gord. Indeed, this is a history-making night here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. Tonight we have Brad Janishewski. Is that how it's pronounced?
Janishewski, yes.
Janishewski.
That's good.
He's Canada's only, Alberta's only jet car owner and licensed jet car driver. Brad, if you could tell us some things about the car and how you got into it.
Absolutely. First of all, I'm really happy and proud to say that I am the local boy. I live in Drayton Valley, born and raised, about an hour out of here in Edmonton. This is my first time going down the track in Edmonton in any form of a race car. When I raced back in the early 80s, there was no park like this one. I started off in the alcohol funny cars and worked my way up into the nitro funny cars in the early mid-80s. And took about a 15-year absence to do some business, make a couple of dollars, and never lost the love for the cars. So last year I toured with Casey Jones a little bit and learned a little bit about jets. Licensed in the Cannonball Express in November last year. We put this car together throughout the winter, brought it out April 2nd, and we've been racing just about every weekend since, mostly in the United States. We debuted the car in Calgary May 5th, and we're pretty successful. The car's going down the track, and every pass it gets a little better, a little better, a little better. So I am probably mostly excited about this particular race being home, and I've got a lot of friends and family in the stands.
That's good to hear, Brad. Yes, this is a very super night here for this. Can you tell us a little bit about the car, what powers it and that for the people at home?
This car's got a Westinghouse J34 jet engine in it. It's out of a naval fighter plane. They used them on the aircraft carriers. The body's a 2000 Monte Carlo. This engine puts out about 6,000 pounds of thrust, and that's equates to about 12,000 horsepower. This particular car has been running consistently 230 miles an hour, and we're trying to sneak it up around the 250 mark. And I think we're going to see some numbers like that tonight with this air.
That's good. Now, how many races have you raced so far this year with the car? Or have you been racing just basically locally, like in Alberta, Western Canada? Or have you had a chance to get back east with the car yet?
Mostly in the United States. Started off in Seattle, and we went on a tour from Seattle. We ran down to Sacramento, Redding, Reno, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City. We've been just all over the West Coast and up and down from north to south. And we ran so far in Canada only Calgary. Tonight here. And we're moving on to Spokane next, and then back up to Prince George, back here again for Hot August Nights, August.
In other words, you're going to have a lot of frequent flyer miles, are you?
We're putting the miles on this whole truck going down the road, and it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and good luck with your runs tonight, and I know the crowd will just love it. Local boy makes good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, you kind of got me off guard there. Well, we are just about ready for round one action here. Boy, we got an incredible field of race cars here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. Of course, we've got the top alcohol funny cars, top alcohol dragsters, super pro jet cars, and Rick Markham and his wheel stander. We'll be talking with him in just a couple of moments. And I'm looking behind me at all the excited race fans. Race fans, you ready for some drag race action here tonight? Thank you. We are back with round number one. coming up in just a couple of moments. Race fans to Trilenium Industries Championship drag racing here on Shaw Motorsports and exclusive coverage of Fox Hunt 2000. And Stan Ankers, I've had my little snack. You've had your little bite to eat. It's time to do a little racing here tonight.
Yes, Gord. And what a beautiful night it is. It's been the last couple of days of good weather. Track's prepped just right for this. The fans are just sitting there on the edge of their seats just waiting for this. And first up, we have Rick Markham here.
Well, Rick Markham out of Spokane, Washington, a veteran exhibition driver. He's been doing this, what, about
15 years he's been
This
doing
is his 15th
15th
year. And he does about 6 to 8 shows a year. This year, anyway, I guess the price of fuel is sort of hampering him, too, in his travels.
That's right. It's not only affecting races, it's even affecting the exhibition vehicles like Rick's here. Just waiting to get ready here. Eddie Shapka, the starter, going to give him the green light, and away we'll go.
It is a 1986 Chevy pickup. It's a short box. The 427 blown alcohol Chevy motor sitting in the box of the pickup. That's obviously going to help him lift those front wheels. If you've never seen a wheel stander before, take a look at this. He is off, running down the racetrack. That 1.18 second, that's a reaction time. It's just part of the programming here on Shaw. We'll be getting to the reaction time and what that means a little bit later on. But what matters is at the finish line, a 13.83 second run, 90.86 miles an hour on his back wheels.
On his back wheels. That's what I was going to say, Gord. On his back wheels. Now, I know it's just, and of course, you see the sparks coming off the back there. He's got magnesium pads there that they scrape on the track. They don't hurt the track, but it just gives this little added feature for the fans in the stands.
All show in one night stand. Rick Markham out of Spokane, Washington. We'll be seeing him a little later on tonight as the sun set here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. So right now we have got part of the Pro Alcohol Funny Car class, the International Blown Alcohol Association. Now these cars, we've got two classes of funny cars here tonight, the Pro Alcohol cars and the Top Alcohol Funny Cars. And
Federal Mogul ones, yes.
The Federal Mogul Funny Cars. Now these are the cars that, they're limited. They can't go faster than 7.50 seconds.
Yeah.
And up first we have, well, this is a unique story in itself, Stan, driving the Superbird funny car.
Yeah, Sherry Bodnachuk out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Her and her husband Dave just purchased the car last year. They got it comfortable in and everything. She got herself licensed and everything last year to drive it, upgraded her license to her. She used to run in Supercomp with a Tofino.
Tofino or Topolino, I think.
Topolino, okay.
That's right.
And now she's advanced, like a lot of other racers do. They work their way up the ladder, and now she's got this 1970 Funny Bird car, and she's really got her act together here. If you notice on the burnout there, she almost stayed side by side with Darrell Webb, who is known as the Burnout
King. Indeed.
And there are a few cars this year that are aiming to upset him as the Burnout King. But I'll tell you, personally, I think they're going to have a way to go. But they are trying.
So it is Sherry Bodnachuk, a newcomer to the funny car scene in Western Canada out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Dave Bodnachuk, her husband, is the crew chief. Chuck Bodnachuk and Sean Myers, also members of the crew to keep these race cars going here. 526 cubic inch Keith Black Hemi powering the 1970 Superbird funny car. You don't see many of these cars change into a funny car. I think it's very neat.
No, you don't, Gord. Actually, you didn't see that many back there. These were built in 1970 by Chrysler to run on the NASCAR circuit. They ran for a couple of years and then they were basically outlawed because of the wing. But the wing gave them great stability, and that's what's going to help Sherry.
Darrell Webb out of Edmonton, a 5.74 reaction time, a .400 is perfect. And Darrell Webb will win this round, a 7.99, 177.13 miles an hour. Sherry Bodnachuk smoked the wheels all the way down the quarter mile, running an 11.03, 157.72 miles an hour. But good job from Sherry Bodnachuk keeping that car straight and narrow going down this quarter mile drag strip. But Darrell Webb is right now the mark to beat with that 7.99 run.
That's right. And again, Sherry's still getting her feel of the car in that, and she kind of broke loose at the beginning there, and so unfortunately she didn't have as good a run as she would have liked to have had.
Well, this is her first year really behind the
That's
wheel
right.
of the funny car.
Darrell's
been racing for 19 years, probably 6-7 years I think in the funny car now.
That's about that long in the funny car, yeah.
Yep.
So Darrell's got quite a bit of experience in the funny car, so
Now,
I look for great things from Sherry in the future.
Definitely. Now, the format we have here tonight, race fans, it is Chicago-style racing. All the funny cars will be running just twice. So this really is their qualifying pass. And what we'll be doing is taking the two best ETs, and they will meet in the final a little later on in tonight's broadcast.
Gord, this car coming up now is the J. Majot family racing team here. This car just excites me. It's a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. That's in the far lane. In the near lane here we have
Bruce Oliver from Marshall, Saskatchewan, a former pro-mod driver. And so he's used to racing these high horsepower race cars.
And he's moved up into the funny car ranks. Along with Jay Majot there on the far side, him and his dad and the crew built that car over the wintertime, took possession of the body in late December and built the car basically from scratch. Kenny Sitko built the frame for them, and here they are today. Jay's living his dream.
It's the only car in Canada with the 57 Chevy body. There's only 3 in North America, and actually Bob Majot, Jay's father, used to run a car similar to that back in the old Speedway days. It's called Prospector, and the new one is Prospector 2, but we are having some problems with Jay Majot's car. The burnout is complete. Jay Majot has now crossed the finish line, and he's making his way down. Oh, that's a tough break for Jay Majot.
Yes, it is. Something obviously happened down there, and we'll try and get you an update on what happened.
So Bruce Oliver knows that there is a problem with Jay Majot's car, so he's been allowed to reheat the tires once again. So that's a tough break for Jay Majot out of Edmonton, part of the Majot family racing team. So hopefully they'll be able to get that car situated, but he will not be in the final here tonight. So it will be, well, we saw Sherry Bodnarchuk's run. And obviously Bruce Oliver will have to beat that 11-second run, and I don't think he'll have a problem.
No, I don't think so. But you know what? Anything can happen.
Indeed it can. Bruce Oliver out of Marshall, Saskatchewan. He's a farmer by trade. This is his, I guess you can call it a hobby. What a hobby to have. He's sick and tired of sitting in the tractor out in the fields. He wants to go a little bit faster, so why not get behind the wheel of a blown alcohol funny car?
That's the nice thing, you know. These drivers and racers come from all different walks of life. They love the sport. Most of them have grown up with it or been involved with it for quite a long time. And Bruce here, just like others, is living out his dream.
A 4:00 is a perfect light for reaction time as far as our Christmas line start tree is concerned. And what happens is the 3 lights illuminate, and they've got like a 4/10 of a second to react. Let's see how Bruce Oliver does. 5:67, not too bad for him, but ooh, he's getting out of the racing groove. He better put his foot back into it if he's going to be able to make it to the final.
And the chutes popped him. Oh, okay.
9:16, 139.23 miles an hour for Bruce Oliver. Indeed, he does. He will make it to the final, going up against Darrell Webb in a Chicago-style racing here as we take a look at a replay here of Bruce Oliver's run.
A little bit of hop there. I think it unloaded on the wheelie bar there.
A little bit of tire shake, too, actually, as he reached the 300.
And he's out of the groove here. And, the fans love this, but the drivers do not.
Drives them nuts.
Just more than drives them nuts, especially when they get close to that wall.
Yep. But a good run there.
And his chute opened a little early, too, unfortunately.
That scrubbed off a little ET and speed for Bruce Oliver. So a little later on in this broadcast, we will be seeing the final in the Pro Alcohol Funny Car class. It will be Darrell Webb taking on Bruce Oliver, and that will be taking place, as I mentioned, a little later on in this final. This is Trilennium Championship drag racing and exclusive coverage of Fox M 2000 here at Budweiser Motorsports Park.
Okay, now here we go, Gord. This is the Federal Mobile Funny Cars. They are the quicker of these 2 classes out here tonight because they're allowed to do a few little more things to their car, and basically there's more money put into them than that, but they go quicker. These cars are capable of 5-second runs.
From the fine province of Grand Saskatchewan, it is Glenn Whitehead in a car that he likes to call Fast Company. And of course, the broadcast that we did last year, we mentioned about the movie that was shot in Edmonton, Alberta. Same name, Fast Company. Burnout, up and running. Now, the burnouts, it's not for show. It is a very, very important aspect of NHRA drag racing, Stan.
Yes, it is, Gord. Like you say, it's an important aspect. It heats up the tires. It gets them stickier. They adhere to the solution that's been put down on the track, and it allows him, now he'll back up, a crew member will come in front of the car, guide him back into the same tracks he's laid down, and then when he takes off, it's better adhesion to the track, and it'll better launching in that, better reaction, or a better ET, I'm sorry, and faster time, and that's what it's all about.
It's instant acceleration. You want to get from point A to point B in the fastest amount of time as possible, and a smoky burnout, getting those tires heated up definitely aids in that. If you have an incomplete burnout, it does affect you at the start line.
Oh yes, it does.
Your tires aren't as hot as they should be.
That's
you
right.
lose traction, and you're sitting there spinning your wheels, going nowhere while the clock is running. And of course, this is all a matter of the ET elapsed time in seconds from the start line to the finish line.
Now, Glenn here, this guy, I've had the opportunity up the top end a few times when he's come down the track in previous times. This guy loves running in this car. He just enjoys it immensely. Has a great time.
Beautiful car, too.
Yeah.
Pennzoil, one of the proud sponsors on that Top Alcohol Funny car. He's going to inch up to the line. You're going to hear the RPMs come up to about 3,000-4,000. Away he goes, a 5:73 reaction time for Glenn Whitehead out of Saskatchewan, and he gets out of the group, puts his foot back into it again. Man, the drivers are having problems with traction here tonight. 983, 86.73 miles an hour. It's kind of funny. He coasts across the finish line at 86 miles an hour. These cars we're normally used to seeing up in the 220,
That's right.
230 mile per hour range.
But
Kind
watch this here, Gord. I believe he also had a little problem with the shifting going into the next gear.
a little bit of a
Right
wobble
there,
there,
yeah.
and that shot him over towards the center of the racetrack.
And then you see the smoke coming off the tires. You don't want that happening after the starting line. You want it just to go straight ahead. So he's got his hands full here. The crew will go back. They'll look at the computer, get it figured out, fool around with the clutch, get the clutch set up where it should be for this track, the conditions tonight, and come back the next round.
It is a capacity crowd here tonight at Budweiser Motorsports Park for a history-making race. It is the Fox Hunt, the return of it, and I know you've attended many Fox Hunt events at the old Edmonton International Speedway.
Yes, I did, Gord, and that's when I was, well, let's say a little bit younger, and we had a great time, but it's good to see it back here. I guess it's to bring back the nostalgia. Nostalgia is coming back into drag racing quite a bit stateside. It is slowly starting to creep up here into Canada now. Now up at the starting line we have John Evanschuk and the Red Wolf. John, this is his 4th year with the car, and each year it's just got quicker and faster, and he's become more knowledgeable each run. They installed a computer over the winter time. They've got the handle down on it. They were here a couple weeks ago at the track, and they ran, but they got out of the groove. But I was talking to John later, and he said if it would have stayed in the groove, it would have been a 6-0 run. So watch out for great things for John here tonight.
What's with the funny car drivers and from the province of Saskatchewan? Isn't it something? We've got another car, the Eatmore funny car, driven by Kevin Therese, also from the fine province of Saskatchewan.
Actually, Gord, the drag racing history in Saskatchewan, it goes quite a way back. The SIR track in Saskatoon, there's quite a few guys there. There's guys running stock there, super stock, that are quite well known in the States, very competitive. They're feared when they go down there. There's, out of the roots of Saskatchewan, have come quite a few drag racers that have made their mark known, and you know, when they come to Alberta or any other place, they come to run. They don't come to fool around.
Well, the burnout's out complete. Final look at the race cars by the crew of each of these teams, John Evanschuk and the Red Wolf Top Alcohol Funny Car team, and same with Kevin Therese and the Eatmore Top Alcohol Funny Car. It's a tricky track by the looks of it right off the bat here tonight with the passes that we've seen thus far in our funny cars, both the Pro Alcohol class and the first pass in our Top Alcohol class with Glenn Whitehead.
Yeah, this should be interesting. I think if anybody's going to have this track figured out, it should be John. Got Wayne Barber as his crew chief there. Wayne's been around for as many years as I have been in drag racing, and that goes way back into the 60s. And so between Wayne and John, they should have the track figured out. So this should be a very interesting run. Let's just sit back and watch this.
It is the battle of the provinces, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Kevin Therese in the far lane, John Evanschuk in the near lane. The RPMs will come up. are away. Kevin Therese actually cuts the better light, but he gets out of the racing groove. John Evanchuk also got out of the racing groove, but he put his foot back into the 694, 200.80 miles an hour. Kevin Therese, an 11:49 and a coasting 70.97 miles an hour. Tough break for Kevin Therese as he got out of the groove early and unfortunately had to shut it off. John Evanchuk also got out of the groove, but he collected the car, I think, a little bit quicker and managed to get a pretty decent pass down the quarter mile. That's our best ET of the night so far.
Okay, now watch it here. What happens when they do get out of the groove in the car, like Krevin there went towards the wall, so did John, you get out of it. You're better off aborting the pass and have the car there for the next run so that you don't hurt anything, hit the wall or anything like that. But John did a beautiful job of correcting it and still getting his foot in it. Like I say, I expect great things from John here tonight.
So here's our funny car lineup. Evanchuk with a 694, Whitehead a 983, Kevin Therese an 1149. So it should be John Evanchuk and Glenn Whitehead meeting in the final a little bit later on tonight in our Chicago-style format that Budweiser Motorsports Park has put together for the race fans and Shaw Motorsports here tonight in the Pro Alcohol funny car class. Darrell Webb with that 799, Bruce Oliver a 916, Sherry Bodnarchuk an 1103, and Jay Maggio, no time. Tough break for him, so as we mentioned, it will be Bruce Oliver and Darrell Webb meeting up in the final a little bit later on tonight in our broadcast here on Trilenium Championship Drag Racing and coverage of Fox Hunt 2000 at Budweiser Motorsports Park. And the nice thing about this event, we've got just about every single class of race car you can think about. We've got top alcohol funny cars, pro alcohol funny cars, and now we go on board with the City Audio Visual car cam with Steve Sitko in his top alcohol dragster.
There was a very good indication. I mean, when these guys do the burnouts, it looks pretty easy, but you saw the shake. I mean, it looks smooth watching it from the stands, but this is quite a ride, and I think part of the reason why these guys like to get in these cars is the adrenaline pumping that comes out of it. And that Serge Dion doing his burnout. Serge Dion and Kenny Sitko own this car. Kenny, again, he goes way back into the 70s. His dad, George, taught him, got him going in the alcohol ranks when he was 17 years old in high school still.
Well, these cars, they're sure pumping out the horsepower, about 2,500 horsepower each. Steve Sitko in the far lane. Of course, a couple of the proud sponsors is Trilenium Industries as we go on board once again with Steve Sitko. City Audio Visual and the car cam are back on board for the 2000 season here on Shaw Motorsports. A Pro Stock Performance, just a couple of the proud sponsors on Steve Sitko's top alcohol dragster. And Steve Sitko last year, where we saw the blower let loose. Actually, he had his engine actually let loose last year during our hot August night telecast. As we take a look at the burnout once again from Serge Dion, looking for a big win here tonight in front of the hometown fans. Steve Sitko, Serge Dion, both out of the Edmonton area, both local drivers, and they come to race each and every event.
Serge, the defending Canadian National Open champion from last year, 1999.
He rolled that race car too last year.
Yes. But, they put it together within a week or two, week and a half, went down to Spokane, and Serge won the national event down there, won the World Finals down in Spokane.
And all that in his rookie season.
Yes.
This is only his second year behind the wheel of a top alcohol dragster. Serge Dion in the near lane. Far lane, as mentioned, Steve Sitko. They will come up to the start line. And again, reaction time is important in this race. You want to get a good jump on your competitor. 0.400, a perfect light for reaction time.
Yeah, these cars run on the Pro Tree where it's instant green.
They got 0.4 of a second to react to that green light. 400 is a perfect light. RPMs come up just as their top alcohol funny car counterparts. 5-0 getting out of the hole. Boy, Steve Sitko getting out of the racing groove. You saw it. You were on board with Steve Sitko. Man, that was a hair-raising run for Steve Sitko. He got, I think that was oil on the camera lens from Steve Sitko, and that may have slicked up those rear tires somewhat.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. I mean, both those performances for those cars, that's not normal for those cars. As we saw, they had trouble going down the track here. They got out of the groove, got slippery. Here we go. Let's watch it over again.
And our Shaw Motorsports replay here, yeah.
Steve had the better reaction time.
Yep.
Came out of there a lot quicker than Serge did. But
and getting out of the groove, you can sort of see the
latter very close to the wall. I'm sure his heart was a pumping, but he still beat Serge through the quarter mile.
So we only have the two top alcohol dragsters here on this Fox Hunt 2000, but like I said, we're bringing you each and every class of race car here tonight at Budweiser Motorsports Park. So we'll be seeing those two in the final a little bit later on tonight. Steve Sitko will have lane choice. Now, all I'm worried about, we did see a little bit of oil on the camera lens. I'm just hoping it's nothing serious with the Steve Sitko crew.
I'm sure they'll get it straightened around, Gord. Like I say, they've been around a long time. They probably already got it figured out what it is. They'll talk to Steve when they get down there. They'll look at the car, they'll check it out, and they'll come back, and their performance should be much improved.
As will Serge Dion, because here's another shot of the replay of the start. Wheels come up in the air.
Steve picked them up nicely, but then he got virtually out of the groove right off the bat.
And Serge Dion was smart too, shutting her down, because he was heading for the right wall there.
It looked like they were going.
As this track is very tricky in the early goings here tonight at Budweiser Motorsports Park for Fox Hunt 2000. As I said, we have every kind of class of race car here. We're going to have a little bit of nitro here. Yeah. Newcomers, really they are. They've only been involved in the nitro funny car scene for a couple of years now.
Yeah, this is their second year with the nitro funny car. They had an alcohol funny car before. Here we see Jason Duchesne, and his dad owns the car.
Castrol GTX, a major sponsor on this race car. It's patterned the paint after, of course, you know who down in the States, Mr. John Force.
The number one man, yeah. And just a little sideline here. One of the fellows working on the car here is Neil Federley. Now, if that name sounds familiar, that's because his uncle is Bernie Federley, one of the crew chiefs on John Force's car. John, in the last 10 years, has won the national title down the States 9 out of the 10 years.
9-time funny car champ south of the border. And I know Jason Duchesne has his eyes set on perhaps one day competing full-time on the NHRA circuit south of the border. Still a ways to go yet. The performance, it is there, but these cars are a handful. You got 6,000 horsepower, short wheelbase, and oh, wow, you've got to have... Well, you got to be brave to operate one of these high horsepower race cars. $60 a gallon for fuel now. You think the price of a liter of gas is expensive at around, well, it's $3 a gallon right now here in Canada, on average around there. And fuel for these nitro funny cars is hovering around the $60 a gallon mark, and they use about 12, 13 gallons a run. Unbelievable. As we take a look at our home for the rest of this evening here, the Ron Hodgson Southgate Announcer Tower here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. Great view, and of course these race fans here enjoying the action tonight and enjoying a smoke too by the looks of it, Stan Ankers.
Well, a little downtime till they get
exactly.
Jason fired up here. And
as we did have a little bit of rain here earlier on, delaying the start of this show. As you can see
beautiful
the rainbow
shot.
In the background there over the Coca-Cola sign and the Autotrader.com signs. And it looks like we're about set to get Jason Duchesne's car fired, and it is running right now.
What I'm looking forward to, Gord, one day, and the way the technology is going up, we've now got the cameras that you can put on board with the cars. I'm waiting for that smell cam.
Not going to happen.
Oh,
well, you never know.
That is too bad, because I'll tell you, until you smell the nitro burning motor, there's just nothing. Nothing to come
I can't smell it right now because where we're situated.
Well, I've smelled it enough that, Gord, yeah, I can feel it coming through the walls.
All right. Jason Duchesne out of the Sherwood Park in the Castrol GTX Nitro funny car. He's going to light up the back tires for us right now. Oh, yeah. The folks sitting in the grandstands, they can feel the burnout in their gut. It is just such a unique experience. And television, of course, we're bringing it to you here tonight on Shaw Motorsports, but you have to get to the racetrack to actually feel it. You're seeing the action, but you have to see and feel it, and the only way that is possible is right at the racetrack. If we take a look at a replay of the burnout of Jason Duchesne getting those rear racing slicks nice and hot and sticky for what he's hoping to be a spectacular pass for the race fans here tonight.
Yeah, you're right, Gord. Now, one thing, again, we can't bring to the fan at home here is the fact that when you're up close to these cars, like on the starting line, that's why they call these ground pounders.
They are.
Because it virtually shakes that ground. Until you've experienced it, there's nothing like it. You just, after you've done it, you're just sitting there in awe.
My first experience with a Nitro Funny car was actually down in Calgary back in 1990. It was an experience that I'll never ever forget. Jason Duchesne now out of Sherwood Park, Alberta, in the Castrol GTX Nitro Funny car. He's going to make an exhibition run for the fans here tonight. He's hoping to put the numbers up on the boards. Let's see if he can do it. 650 reaction time. And he gets out of it too as he gets close to the center line. A 799, a coasting 120.41 miles per hour. How do you like this camera view? The shutdown lanes here. We decided to add an extra camera to our Shaw Motorsports crew, and it's looking pretty good, I tell you.
No, it's a good shot we've got here, Gordon. And if these cars get the performance that they're capable of,
300 miles
we
an
see
hour.
them going through the end of the top end of the quarter mile, it'll be a fantastic sight for the fan to see here.
He will indeed. Jason Duchesne, not too pleased with that one, I can tell you that. So hopefully he will be back just a little bit later on tonight in our broadcast with another pass, and maybe you can bump up the numbers just a little bit. Well, racetracks need sponsorships, race cars need sponsorships, this television broadcast needs sponsorships as well, and we've got a whole slew of sponsors that we'd like to thank for bringing the television coverage to your screens here tonight. I do want to thank the fine folks from Competition Sheffield in Stony Plain, reminding you the Canada-wide clearance event is underway. It's 15 minutes west of Edmonton. Competition Sheffield in Stony Plain. The flagship of car and truck stops in Canada is now open. The brand new Husky Edmonton Car and Truck Stop and Husky House Restaurant, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, west of Edmonton, corner of Highway 16 and Highway 60. Zippy's Auto. Well, they are their turbocharged specialists. They custom make turbo systems. They have import performance work as well. They do a race car program there. It's just fantastic. Zippy's Auto in West Edmonton. You Pull It Auto Parts. Your choice for quality used auto parts is You Pull It Auto Parts. All parts come with a 30-day warranty. You Pull It Auto Parts, 6810 50th Street in Edmonton. Reach for the sky with Skyreach Equipment, offering a full line of man lifts and general rental items, and now available the New Holland line of products, Skyreach Equipment. And Trilanium Industries, well, they're the design and manufacturing specialist for the oil field, for mining and pulp and paper industries. New hydraulic systems built to your specifications, drawworks to meet your needs as well. Trilanium also offers general machining and hydraulic repairs. The new millennium is here for manufacturing, design, quality repairs. Maybe it's time to call Trilanium Industries, 413-4635, 413-4635. They're also the proud sponsor of Steve Sitko's Top Alcohol Dragster, and that has a lot of performance. And speaking of performance, Stan Ankers joining me up in the broadcast booth. It is now time for some action and performance from our jet car competitors here tonight.
Yes, Gord. And the nice thing about this one, we're watching the Rolling Thunder of Brad Janishewski.
Janishewski.
Okay,
Yeah,
I knew I was going to have trouble with that, Gord.
You've had problems with that name a few times tonight.
Hey, Gord.
Janishewski.
Brad
Janishewski. I'll say it. Canada's first and only jet funny car, and he used to actually race dragsters and funny cars years and years ago, and he got hooked up last year with Casey Jones out of California in the Cannonball Express. We had him here on Shaw Motorsports last year for Hot August Night, and racing is addicting, and Brad Janishewski's been out of the scene for a while and said enough is enough. I'm going racing for the year 2000, and here he is tonight, the Edmonton debut of Rolling Thunder.
That's right, Gord. He decided he was going to do this over the winter. On January 10th of this year, the year 2000, he started building the car. He finished it on about the 5th of March. April 2nd, he attended his first race and got licensed and all that. And he's been only 2 weekends of racing. Is what he's been doing at this point. Since he's raced, like I say, a couple of times since January 10th, since the car's been put together.
Yep.
Now he's up here back in his home province. He ranged from Drayton Valley, Alberta, and I'll tell you, he's just tickled pink to be here in front of his hometown crowd tonight.
Well, he's full of enthusiasm, and when you are a feature car, a feature driver, you have to have your enthusiasm. Of course, an enthusiastic sponsor on Rolling Thunder is SeaTech, and SeaTech a proud sponsor of the Jet Funny car. In the near lane, up from Bend, Oregon, it is Richard Smith in the Warhawk Jet Funny car, and this is his second appearance here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And this car, both these cars, are actually capable of running 230, 240, 250 miles an hour, so about 240 average for both of these Jet Funny cars, and we'll probably see these Jet Funny cars hit those numbers here tonight. The fire show begins now for the race fans here in the stands and for you at home. Out of Drayton Valley, Brad Janishewski from Bend, Oregon, Richard Smith. Let's watch the fire show.
Now, this is just part of the show. This really doesn't have any effect on the performance. But the nice thing this year, NHRA has allowed them to up to a mile an hour. Up to last year, they were only allowed to go 300 miles an hour in the quarter mile. So they had to tune it so that it couldn't go quicker than 300. Yeah. This year they're allowing them to go 325. So look out.
Now,
you might see some nice numbers here tonight.
Well, I'm wondering too, at big jet crashes in the past 7 weeks down in the States. We don't hear about them up here on the news. The one that was big here was down in Ontario about 3-4 weeks ago. But I'm just wondering if the increase in performance possibly has led to an increase in accidents in the jet class south of the border.
No, I don't believe that at all, Gord. These cars, even though they've got the performance or the capability in front, they're very safely designed, the chassis and everything. Things just happen, okay? Unfortunately, I don't know all the particulars to all these accidents. Things sort of come and go in spurts. You know, yeah.
Janishewski is away in 8:58 reaction time. Smith, a 6:26, will cross the finish line first with a win, a 6:37, 244.29 miles an hour. Janishewski, a 7:11, 225.39 miles an hour. Look out, cameraman, at the top end of the racetrack. We decided to pick up one of our portable cameras and take it down to the finish line to give you at home and the race fans a chance to see what happens at the top end.
Look at this girl's face. Look at her, Gord. She's just astonished. Obviously, this is the first time she's seen the jet cars run.
Well, I still get very excited watching any type of high-performance race cars make their way down the quarter mile, and we're seeing a replay now here. Janishewski again in Rolling Thunder in the far lane as he slows up just a little bit. The Warhawk crosses the finish line first. Richard Smith out of Bend, Oregon. And boy, that's a great first pass by our jet car competitors here tonight at Budweiser Motorsports Park. And I think what we are going to do right now is take a commercial break, and we are going to take a commercial break. We'll be back with more race action right after this here at Budweiser Motorsports Park, Fox Hunt 2000.
We're paying our cable bill online now.
No checks to write?
No envelope?
Industry's top alcohol dragster, Steve Sitko. We'll be talking to Steve in just a couple of moments here, but doing the wrench work here tonight at Fox Hunt 2000, Martin Sjogren. Martin, how do you keep this car together?
Oh, a lot of hard work. We got a whole bunch of crew members. We take it apart pretty well every run. There's not too many things that we don't have to look at. Last run in Edmonton, we ran pretty respectable 612, and when we got back, we had a broken planetary gear in the transmission. A couple of rod bearings were pounded out. We had a rear end that was tight, so we had to go through everything and find everything, and if you don't, you'll hurt it.
Definitely. Now, Martin, 2,500 horsepower, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and obviously it's your job to make sure they don't.
Well, that's true. We just try to keep a conservative tune-up on this thing. We don't want to blow it up, so we want to try and put on a good show for the crowd.
Low sixes tonight?
We're hoping. It depends on the weather. The car hasn't changed since we went out last time, so we're hoping to run low sixes.
Well, Martin, thank you very much. I'll let you get back work on Steve Sitko's engine. Steve Sitko. Thanks, Martin. No. Steve, this is a history-making night tonight. It's Fox Hunt 2000 is back here in Edmonton, and I bet you're glad to be a part of it.
Oh, definitely excited. We worked really hard to get into this race, and we're hoping to put a good show on for the crowd.
Who's this little one?
That's my young son, Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. How are you? You're going to watch your dad race here tonight? Yeah, I know. A little bit shy, but Steve, good luck out there tonight. You take care in the Trilanium-sponsored Top Alcohol Dragster, and go get them.
Thank you very much. We will.
Your choice for quality used auto parts is You Pull It Auto Parts. All parts come with a 30-day warranty. All cars conveniently placed on stands for easy access. Bring your tools, save money. You Pull It Auto Parts. Meet the competition. Drag Racing returns with Fox Hunt 2000 coming up after this commercial break from Budweiser Motorsports Park. Don't go away. And welcome back, race fans. Exclusive coverage, Fox Hunt 2000. This is Trilenium Championship Drag Racing from Budweiser Motorsports Park, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Stan Ankers joining me up in the announcer tower. It's pass number 2. Rick Markham from Spokane, Washington, in a wheel-standing Chevy pickup. He calls it one night stand. This is sort of the exhibition part number 9 here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. This is not his official run right now. He's made one pass earlier on. This is pass number 2, as mentioned. This is a little bit of a teaser.
Yeah, that's what it is, Gord. As you can see, it's got a little darker. It's got his lights on now. You see the flames coming out of the motor. And if you're wondering why the flames are between the motor and the back of his cab of his truck, that's because that motor is turned around. It's not facing front, as you'd say. It's facing backwards in the back of the pickup. Maybe you should call it a backwards pickup or something.
It's just it's an odd setup here, but as we mentioned earlier on in this first
getting ready
pass,
to go. It's going to virtually do the whole quarter mile on the back wheels here. There's sparks coming off the bottom end there.
Canadian flag, and oops.
And there goes a cone. Oh boy.
Code. I don't think.
I think he just made a few enemies with the.
Oops. That's known as an
track set. But these things happen. They'll have it straightened around.
Oh my! Yeah, they're just going to leave it right now. They're going to they'll have the Budweiser Motorsports Park Safety Safari replace that timing marker after he makes his pass here, and maybe we'll do a little interview. The track crew go out and repair that. So folks in the truck, stand by with an interview, please. Again, this is Rick Markham. There it is. The timing clock just sitting there all by itself. Anyway, we got Rick Markham again from Spokane, Washington, in one night stand. He is set to do his second pass of the night. Hey, he's in the Guinness World Book of Records too. We might want to mention that.
That's right. Back in 1988, he set the record at 96.78 miles an hour. Now, that record, of course, no longer stands because NHRA every 4 years takes the record book and just wipes it out, and then somebody goes after again. But at one time he held the record. He has done 115.98 miles an hour in the quarter mile.
On his back wheels.
On his back wheels.
We must remind the race fans at home of that. And it does take some skill. It does take some finesse. And how did he describe it?
Well, like he described it to me earlier on when I was talking to him. He says it's like tap dancing in a landmine field.
Oh my. Rick Markham is away on his back wheels, putting the 427 blown Chevy engine through its paces. The sparks are flying, probably about 70 miles an hour at half track. He's getting set to cross the finish line. What does the score clock read? A 14:09, 87.05 miles an hour. So a little bit slower than his first pass of the night, but still, hey, 87 miles an hour on your back wheels. That's not no small potatoes there.
Gord, that's not a bad deal. 14.09 seconds. The NHRA rule book says you can take a passenger in your vehicle up to 14 seconds.
Is that how that works?
Maybe we can hook up a ride with him here.
That'd be, we'll have to talk with him during our next break in the action here at Budweiser Motorsports Park tonight. Again, this is Trilenium Championship Industries Championship Drag Racing and coverage of the 2000 Fox Hunt. Stan, Fox Hunt is synonymous in the city of Edmonton and actually the city of Calgary too, with that great race action.
Back in the 70s, and that Fox Hunts were a big thing with the promoters of racetracks and that, and always big crowds. The key time of the year they'd come out, and just a lot of fun. I'm sure there's those that are sitting at home listening to us that will remember the Fox Hunt from the Speedway.
And a final little bit of a showmanship there from Rick Markham out of Spokane, Washington, in his one night stand 1986 Chevy pickup. Lights go out. He's quite the showman, Stan.
Oh, he is.
Getting the big reaction from the crowd. And right now, the track crew is going to work. And we're going to go to the interview right now.
Yeah.
All the way up from Bend, Oregon, Richard Smith and the Warhawk Jet Funny Car. Welcome to Budweiser Motorsports Park, and actually this is the second time in Canada, this facility for you.
This is the second time, and we were twice as excited to get here this time.
Well, I bet you are, because it is a historic race here at Budweiser Motorsports Park tonight. After 20 years, an event called the Fox Hunt is back, and it's going to be a crazy night here tonight, and it's crazy already with all the passes that we've seen here so far.
Yeah, it has. I've been up in the starting line watching the cars. I mean, these guys are moving. They're going to make some times tonight. We got a little bit of moisture in the air that's going to make all these cars run really good tonight.
Now, tell us a little bit about your Jet Funny Car. You've been running for how long now?
We got into jets in 1988. I got out of alcohol funny cars after 8 years of that, and then we got into jets. This is a 99 Monte Carlo body. We put a J60 Pratt Whitney jet engine in it. Comes off of like a business jet, Saberliner business jet. And tonight with the air, I hope we can run a good, strong 630, 260 mile an hour.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Now, just tell us a little bit about the intricate, the mechanisms about your Jet Funny Car. Now, we can see the intake here of the jet engine. And again, it came off of what?
This come off of a Saberliner business jet. They have 4 of those engines on the Saberliner. These engines are really fuel inefficient. They're fuel hogs. So instead of spending $500,000 to have the engine rebuilt, they will replace them with a more efficient engine.
And that's where you pick them up.
That's where we pick them up. They used to be just stacked up in the corner. Now they're getting a little bit harder to find. But you'll notice we'll put a screen over the intake because they're closer to the ground than they are in the plane. This way we don't pick up rocks and little kids and stuff like that. Family pets. The jet engine is simple. It's a compressor, compresses air. It's a hot section, heats the air, and with the heat, compressing, and the expansion of the molecules, that's what does it. That's what creates the thrust. 25-gallon fuel tank. We'll use about 18 gallons of it tonight on each run. It's, like I say, it's a fuel hog. Parachutes, dual parachutes to make her come to a halt. Driver's compartment's pretty simple. Kept them, basic, in case a guy, kind of had a little brain whiz or something. He could still remember what he was doing.
Now, on your first pass earlier on tonight, we saw an incredible fire show by you. Now, do you use more fuel with the fire or the smoke?
We use more fuel with the fire because you actually have the engine RPM up a little higher. It's just like flushing a toilet. When you put the fuel to the afterburner, that thing will just, you can even, if you was in the tank, watching the tank, it'll sit there and even swirl.
Well, isn't that something? Now, obviously, with the frame and the mechanisms of the race car, it's just a jet engine on the frame sitting on the 4 wheels.
Just like a roller skate, just like a roller skate.
Indeed. Now, we go to the back of the race car here, and we do see this is where all the action comes from, right here.
That's it. That is it. That's the back end of the Top Gun plane that you see leaving the aircraft carrier. We designed the afterburners somewhat after what they've had done, and these work.
Well, Richard Smith, I want to thank you very much, and you go get up tonight. You got 2 more passes in the evening here. Thank you very much for coming to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Fox Hunt 2000, Budweiser Motorsports Park.
Yes, we are excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, it's sure good to have him back, Richard Smith out of Bend, Oregon, in the Warhawk Jet Funny Car, and the Jet Funny Cars are up right now, Stan Ankers.
Yeah, and he's very excited to be here. Look at this shot.
Cine Audio Visual, again, thank you very much. Just showing you the versatility that the Cine Audio can provide you as a customer. They were showing me an article, if we ever have submarine races, we can put the cameras inside special equipment where we can do underwater shots. They've got it all at Cine Audio. The fire show is underway. Stan, let's just sit back and watch this fantastic fire show here from our two Jet Cars. Garbage cans going for a roll. There's Stan. Oh my.
A lot of power coming out of the back of these.
So 10,000 horsepower each, actually, if they do the conversion right. And it's just an unbelievable sight. Here we go. Brad Janishewski from Drayton Valley, Richard Smith from Bend, Oregon. And in car we go with Brad Janishewski. Richard Smith will cross the line first, winning it with a 6:36, 240.25 miles an hour. Brad Janishewski, a 7:08, 221.02 miles an hour. And man, a couple of good passes once again from our Jet Funny Car competitors. And we go inside once again with a City Audio car cam, rounding the top end of the racetrack to the return road. And that's where a lot of action takes place, that a lot of race fans don't get to see down there. Should be packed. Now what we're going to do right now is, I think, yes, Stan, I've just been getting a message from the truck. We're going to show you a real-time replay of the Jet Funny Car action once again. And once again, we're just going to listen into the sheer raw power of these two Jet Funny cars. A 2000 Monte Carlo of Brad Janishewski, a 1999 Monte Carlo of Richard Smith. It's almost hard to hear ourselves think up here. Once again, race fans, this is a replay of a pass that you just saw on television here. This is a full-time replay, a full-speed replay. I would not like tailgate.
No, definitely no tailgate.
The garbage can. Wow. A full speed replay for you at home, race fans. This is a spectacular shot. A spectacular shot. As they both leave the start line and away they go again down the quarter-mile NHRA drag strip. Now we'll slow her down for you. It is Richard Smith winning round number 2 over Brad Janishewski. And what a pass. They are now open, the flagship of car and truck stops in Canada, corner of Highway 16. Exclusive coverage, Fox on 2000, Budweiser Motorsports Park, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's all a part of Trilenium Industries Championship drag racing on Shaw Motorsports. Stan Ankers up with me in the announcer tower stand. It is final round action time, and we're going to kick things off with the Pro Alcohol Funny Car class. Darrell Webb, Bruce Oliver meeting in the finals. As you can see with the Chicago-style eliminations that we have set up here, the top 2 cars in first round qualifying will meet in the final. And right off the bat, I think I'm going to have to give Darrell Webb a little bit of an advantage. Bruce Oliver is still a little too new in the funny car scene here to, well, you never know. But still, I think Darrell Webb, he's been a long-time runner in this class, and the advantage, I would say early, would have to go to Darrell Webb.
That's true, Gord. Darrell is aware that the rest of these guys are picking up the pace here and getting better, and it's pushing him to become better.
Bruce Oliver out of Marshall, Saskatchewan, a former Pro Mod racer, driving that 1993 Dodge Daytona Pro Alcohol Funny Car, about 1,500 horsepower. They are about 1,000 horsepower less than their top alcohol counterparts, which we'll be seeing momentarily here. But Bruce Oliver and along with the crew, John Scholter and Kevin Willoughby, man, they've been doing wonders with that race car for the 2000 season thus far.
Here we have Darrell Webb in his Lucas Oil sponsored vehicle. They've come on board with him this year, and they've it's been a very happy
relationship between the sponsor and the car. And,
they're out here tonight with the car. Talking to them a little earlier, they were happy with that first round of stuff and that, and they're looking for great things here.
Well,
so, like you say, Gord, we have to put our money on Darrell, but you never know.
You never know. Reaction time, oh so important. One of these kind of races, 4:00 is a perfect light. Darrell Webb, Bruce Oliver, final Pro Alcohol Funny Car class, and Bruce Oliver jumped out to the early race lead. You can see that, but Darrell Webb taking over, and he will pick up the big win with a 792, 172.18 miles an hour. Bruce Oliver, an 824, 155.87 miles an hour. He did have a slight lead off the start. And I would imagine Darrell Webb knew that. But I think Bruce Oliver got out of the racing groove a little bit here. Yeah, you can see the slight starting light advantage there for Bruce Oliver from Marshall, Saskatchewan. And right about at the halfway point of this racetrack, there it is there, Darrell Webb has a nose lead, and he cruised on down the quarter mile to the victory here at Budweiser Motorsports Park. So Darrell Webb is your Pro Alcohol Funny Car champion. And right now, we just decided to toss these two drivers in as a bonus run for you at home here. These were the two, they qualified lower in the Chicago-style shootout. They were number 3 and 4 in qualifying. Number 4, Jay Maggio. Of course, he had some problems with his first pass earlier on tonight. But we have to show you this because this crew has put a lot of work into this race car. The 57 Chevy they call Prospector.
Yeah, and that goes way back to Jay's dad, Bob, back in the late 60s, and that ran a 57 Chevy in stock class at that time, and he called it the Prospector. So Jay, when he built his car over the wintertime and that, he says, Dad, we're going to call this a Prospector. So father like son.
Continues the tradition.
Yeah.
So Jay Maggio backing up his 57 Chevy. There's only 3 of these cars in North America, and one of them is based right here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And from Jay Maggio, we go across to the far lane, and that is Sherry Bodnerchuk out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, as we take a look at the replay of the Prospector. Jay Maggio doing the smoky burnout. What a unique car, though, for Sherry Bodnerchuk. You do not see very many Superbirds converted into a funny car. And we've got one here right now on Shaw Motorsports.
No, Gord, I think the last time I saw one of those was back in 1970 when they came fresh from the factory that way, and they were turned into funny cars at that time.
So a little bit of history here tonight on the racetrack with the 70s Superbird and the 57 Chevy. Everyone's in the nostalgia mode now, it seems.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this car of Jay's and Bob's, just standing still, it looks fast. And the comments they've received on that car, I mean, it's just fantastic.
What's going on with Sherry Bodnerchuk? I see some fluid on the racetrack, Stan. There's fluid pouring out of the front of that race car of Sherry Bodnerchuk from Saskatoon.
Okay.
I'm hoping that's not oil. We don't want that to be oil. So it looks like, yeah, he's getting the one finger sign. So Jay Maggio will get a single run down the quarter-mile NHRA drag strip here. Tough break for Sherry Bodnerchuk. But sort of reverse, Jay had the problems in the first, and Jay's having problems. Boy.
Oh, cross the center line, I believe there, Gord.
Or came awfully close. Will we get a time? Yes, we will. At 9:67, 141.70 miles per hour from Jay Maggio. And just receiving word right now, Sherry Bodner, it was not oil. She had a fuel line. A fuel line.
Actually, there was a crack in the fuel cell. That's what we've heard.
Okay.
And it was pouring out of the bottom of the fuel cell.
Jay did cross the center line, but we still got a time out of him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you'll get a time out of it, Gord. But if this was an actual race, because he crosses the center line, he'd disqualify. Maybe in essence, it was a good thing that Sherry didn't run. He could have been into the side of her, and blessing in disguise here.
We move on now to the top alcohol funny car class, and we move into the final round. We've got 3 on the property, and we have John Evanchuk in the Red Wolf Husky Oil sponsored top alcohol funny car in the far lane, in the near lane, out of Saskatchewan. Kevin Therese in the Eatmore top alcohol funny car. Now, if memory serves me correct, and some days I question my memory, Stan Ankers.
You and me both, Gord.
Didn't Glenn White have a better ET in our Chicago-style qualifying from first round?
Yes, you're right. He did, Gord. Honestly, between rounds here, and they did some talking for whatever reason, and Kevin in the Eatmore car is now running John again.
Scratching my head. Oh, well, we just
maybe we'll get information on this and we can tell the fans at home
what
happened here and why this took place.
I've been on his website, www.eatmore.com. There's a link to the website. In fact, a lot of our race car drivers have their own web page. I know Stan Ankers that John Evanchuk has his own website as well. The Sitkos, Steve Sitko, Sorcerer Racing, Jay Maggio has one as well. So if you are looking for websites of competitors here at Budweiser Motorsports Park, I actually encourage you to log on to www.budpark.com and there is a racer link, and linking you to many of the competitors that compete here at Budweiser Motorsports Park on the oval track and on the quarter-mile NHRA drag strip. So this is the final. John Evanchuk, Kevin Therese, they come up to the start line. You will hear the RPMs come up once again to around 3,000-4,000. The tree will count down, and away they go down the quarter mile. About 2,500 horsepower each. Hoping for a good pass here from both these cars. They are, and look at Kevin Therese, a 494, but he goes up in smoke immediately. John Evanchuk will win it. A 672, 197.10 miles an hour from John Evanchuk. Kevin Therese limps across the finish line with a 10:47, 88.17 miles, and that's our best reaction time of the evening here. That 494, perfect light is a 4:00. Too bad Kevin Therese, the back tires, lost traction almost immediately after that start. And John Evanchuk, though, is your Fox Hunt 2000 champion. Watch, the front wheels come way up.
Yeah, and it got right out of the groove right away. And that was
Save the paint, save the car. Good move from Kevin Therese. John Evanchuk straight as a string down the quarter mile for the win. Your Fox Hunt 2000 champion in the top alcohol funny car class.
But with John ZT and the mile an hour he ran there, I've got a feeling, maybe we can't see it on the film, but the tires were spinning a little. He just wasn't getting the traction.
No, he wasn't. Well, it's cooled off here.
Yeah, it has, and because I know John, and John knows that he can do better. And John will be back, and he's going to prove it this year yet to the fans here in the stands.
You bet he is. Now, Glenn Whitehead, who we thought was going to be in the final, and we've got a top alcohol dragster in the other lane.
Okay, I think I see what's happened here, Gord. Because of the fact that Steve had the problem he had, and that they talked about it between rounds here, and now what they're doing is they're giving the fan something that you do not normally see. Dragster racing funny car.
That's right, because as we see the top alcohol funny car time-ins from the first round of Chicago style qualifying, 694 for Evanchuk, Whitehead with a 983, Therese with an 1149. Actually, it should have been Evanchuk and Whitehead meeting in the final. Something obviously behind the scenes that we're not privy to.
Gord, it might even have been a flip of the coin and that. I mean, these guys are all quite good friends and very close when they're in the pits. When they get up to the starting line, it's a different story. It's every man for himself.
So Glenn Whitehead just completing his burnout. We've just received some bad news that Steve Sitko is done for the night. We had the in-car camera shot on his. We saw a little bit of fluid. That was oil and terminal for that race car. And that has got to be extremely disheartening.
Yeah, because Steve came out here tonight, of course. One of his sponsors is Trilenium, and that
sponsor of this broadcast.
He wanted to really do well tonight. He was loaded for bear. He was pumped up and everything. Unfortunate night for Steve, but again, as well as I know Steve, he'll be back.
So we will have a top alcohol funny car taking on a top alcohol dragster. So we might as well congratulate Serge Dion in the far lane in the Creative Door Services Northwest Paving sponsored top alcohol dragster. They are the Fox Hunt 2000 champions here tonight. So what we're going to be seeing right now, I guess we can call it a grudge race between these two. Both have extremely potent race cars, capable of putting down the numbers, both equally matched, both around 2,500 horsepower each. And now it's going to come down to drivers' skill to make their way down this quarter-mile NHRA drag strip. The dragster will have the advantage, obviously. It's more streamlined than a funny car, and the fans here in the stands are going to be in for quite the treat. It is a funny car versus a dragster. Serge Dion in the far lane, Glenn Whitehead in the near lane. And get ready for some top alcohol funny car dragster action here. Again, that's what I like about the Fox Hunt. It's a little bit of everything, kind of like a smorgasbord style of race. You get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of action, really, is what it all comes down to here.
And, Gord, the fans...
A little bit of action, a little bit of lightning there in the distance.
The fans have been wanting this for quite a few years, the NHRA fans. They want to see the dragsters run the funny car. And this might be the reason why they decided to go this route here with Steve's unfortunate situation. This is why the track might decide that.
All right, you can see the top bulb lit on the Christmas tree for Glenn Whitehead. He is already pre-staged, which means he is about 6 inches away from having his wheels directly on the start line. They will both inch up, as you see they are doing right now. The tree will come down. Serge Dion, a 4:37 reaction time. He is just cruising down the quarter mile, but he slows up a little bit as he got awfully close to that center line. 6:98, 161.84 miles an hour. Glenn Whitehead, as these drivers, this racetrack is really causing havoc with our drivers here tonight. A 7:34, 204.26 miles an hour. For Glenn Whitehead, you can see the reaction time advantage right off the bat, and he already had about a full car length lead by the time they reached the 60-foot mark. Serge Dion cruising down the quarter mile as we're looking at our Shaw Motorsports replay here. And what a run. And the champion here tonight at Budweiser Motorsports Park. And don't go away, race fans. We are back with more race action after this. And that, race fans, is the sound of 6,000 horsepower, the Castrol GTX machine of the Team Duchesne out of Sherwood Park.
Yeah, Rick and Jason, father-son team here.
There's a lot of the family aspect of racing, man. It's sure becoming apparent here. We saw moments ago with Bob Maggio, used to run the Prospector 57 Alcohol Funny Car. Son Jay now picking up the ball and running with it here. Well, sort of not picking up the ball, but the car, literally, and going with it down the quarter mile. But then and now, sure, it's changed technology-wise and, boy, expense-wise, too.
Oh, just unreal. Just unreal. I mean, you look at what the guys have for tow rigs nowadays. If they would have had these back in the late 60s, mid-70s, they would have just, you know, it just would have been
it's ahead of its time way back then, but nowadays you almost have to have this kind of equipment to travel, especially with the schedules that some of these guys do.
That's right. And, you know, if you try and live out of a motel, you know, it's a lot better to be with a motorhome or whatever most of these guys have nowadays and that, and it's just more convenient. Sometimes you get in late, especially, I mean, all these guys we're basically seeing here tonight, they've got other jobs.
Yep.
You know, this is not their livelihood other than the fellows with the Jet Dragster and Rick Markham with his wheel stand and that. All the rest of these, Jason, he's got, you know, another life than just run this. This is a hobby.
It's a hobby, but a very expensive hobby. Jason Duchesne out of Sherwood Park, hoping to put some numbers up for the race fans. I know he's probably a little bit frustrated with the pass earlier on tonight, but then again, it's a brand new race car, second year for them this year, and he's still sort of, and again, goes up in smoke, still working on the clutch of that race car. Yeah, a little bit of road course racing there, trying to avoid taking out the cone at the halfway point of the racetrack. Crosses the finish line coasting, 65 miles an hour. That'll get you a speeding ticket, but he was coasting across the finish line. 1376, I know he won't be happy with that. That's too bad.
Yeah, you know, they're trying so hard to get this car running, and maybe that's a little bit of the problem. They're trying so hard that they're maybe second guessing themselves sometimes and that. You know, it's not an easy thing. Unfortunately, we see the people out of the States that runs these cars, they make it look very easy, but
exactly,
it's a lot of time and dedication and
Rick,
pay your dues.
Yeah.
You got to pay your dues. There's just no doubt about it.
Rick Markham paid his dues 15 years ago when he broke into the exhibition class of wheel stand racing, and this is his 15th year. And he's doing about 8 events this year, and we're lucky enough to have him up here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada at Budweiser Motorsports Park.
There we go, Gord. Remember we were talking a little earlier about the motor being backwards? There was a good shot of the motor, how it's situated at the very back of the truck and turned around.
And another driver that is making it look easy, like you never get me doing something like that.
No, but I'd sure like to go for a ride in one of these ones. I think that'd be a thrill.
Well, we were attempting to have an in-truck camera mounted on Rick Markham's one-night stand GMC pickup, and we were having a heck of a time finding a place to put it. And one of the places that we finally decided where we were going to put it was on the back tailgate, pointing back towards the Sparks. Mm-hmm. But Cine Audiovisual, who are the proud sponsors of our in-car camera, they didn't know about this, and I decided to intervene and say, no, we want to protect this
Yeah.
$2,000
Yeah,
camera from any chance of damage.
That camera's got the technology in it like these guys have got in the race cars, and you just don't want to take chances.
Well, especially the camera, we were going to mount it in the box, the tailgate area there. That's in a very delicate area, and we wouldn't want anything bouncing around in there and possibly interfering with the mechanisms of that blown Chevy engine. Around 2,000, maybe just a little bit shy of 2,000 horsepower coming out of that 427 of a Rick Markham in One Night Stand. Again, a Guinness World Record holder, and we've got him right here, Budweiser Motor. There's the engine we were just talking about. A good shot of it there.
There's the blower, the belt,
Yeah.
the exhaust. And of course, it's all situated towards the back, over the back wheels, almost right on the tailgate there, so that it allows the truck to come up right almost
It's like a weight
instantly. It's a weight
transfer.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back to your early childhood school years and where you worked with the fulcrum and all that, and move it around, and there we go. Bingo.
And he is off. 962 reaction time. Reaction time doesn't matter. This is just
not
all
for him, no.
show, and he boarded the run. Rick Markham out of Spokane, Washington, aborting the run, and something may have happened on the way down this quarter mile.
I guess just like everybody else, he's got to get in that groove too, and when he starts getting out of it, it's best to back off and come back another day than to back off and have to build for another day.
Well, he's going to do the return pass, and we're going to have the sparks flying here. I don't think he's going to be very, very happy. He's a showman. He wants things to go perfect, and that was not a perfect run from Rick Markham.
No.
He knows that. His hands are up in the air. He's going, I don't know what happened.
No, if you ever get the chance to go into the pits and talk to him, this is a guy you want to talk to.
What a colorful character.
He could be a comedian.
Yeah,
I mean,
there he goes. He goes, I don't know what happened, folks. I'm sorry.
I think that was what me worried.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sorry, guys, is what he is saying. Anyway, race fans, we're going to take a commercial break right now. Be right back.
Yeah, shaking his head.
Here at Budweiser Motorsports Park, Fox Hunt 2000, and two classes that we don't normally see on television, Stan Ankers, the Pro Class and the Super Pro Class. We've got the Pro Final on the racetrack right now, and it's good that we can get these drivers on TV. They work just as hard as the other competitors here. Thor Thember, a 12.05 dial-in. Adolf Sabrin, a 12-second flat dial-in. A dial-in time, very important, Stan.
Yeah. Virtually heads up, but Thor will...
hoping to be there.
Yeah.
Thor Thember, a 12.05, the dial-in time, race fans, is the number that these drivers think they will be able to cover the quarter mile in. They get these dial-in times through the time trials earlier on in a race day. It is neck and neck at the finish line. Oh, Thor Thember breaks out. He went faster than his posted dial-in time, which means Adolf Sabrin is your pro champion here at Fox Hunt 2000, the 12.05 on his 12.00 dial-in, so he wins it, and he is your pro champion here tonight. The reaction time actually went to Thor Thember. He had the better reaction time with a 5.35. A perfect light on the Super Pro, and the Pro Class is a 5.00. They've got 0.5 of a second to react to the green light coming on. So Thor Thember, unfortunately, goes faster than what he thought. It's a handicap start because the slower vehicle gets the handicap. And race fans, we are back as we get set for the Super Pro Final coming up next. Now for you here at Budweiser Motorsports Park, Fox Hunt 2000, all a part of Trilenium Industries Championship Drag Race covering on Shaw Motorsports. Stan Ankers, this is going to be an incredible final round event with these two competitors. We've got the defending Super Pro champion from 1999, Lance Churchuk out of Beaumont, going up against Steve Sims out of New Norway, which is near Camrose.
That's right. Mopar versus GM. Little
Steve
Vega
Sims.
panel wagon.
This is Lance Churchuk's first ever Fox Hunt event. Steve Sims has competed in all kinds of Fox Hunt events and has never won one ever. Can he do it tonight? Sims dialing 10.61. Lance Churchuk dialed in with 11.41. Churchuk will leave first. Steve Sims will leave second to play catch-up and our reaction time indicator is not showing any information. Let's hope we'll get some proper information at the finish line, and we do, and Lance Churchuk breaks out, going faster than the 11:41 dial-in time. Steve Sims runs 10:65 on his 10:61 dial-in time, and you know what that means? We've got the winner.
Yes, sir.
Steve Sims wins it in that Vega wagon he calls loose change, and guess what he's going to have jingling in his pockets after the win here tonight?
Some loose change.
Some loose change. Big feature win here tonight in the Super Pro class. So congratulations to Steve Sims, your Super Pro champion here tonight at Budweiser Motorsports Park. Lance Churchuk, your runner-up.
I just hope Lance isn't in the doghouse with his sponsor over this, but I'm sure his sponsor's happy.
Hey, race fans, you stand by. Final rounds of the Jets coming up. Back, race fans, Trilenium Industries Championship Drag Racing coverage of Fox Hunt 2000 here at Budweiser Motorsports Park, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Stan Ankers up here in the tower with me. Stan, the final pass of the night, we've got jet cars.
And what a pass it'll be. It's completely dark out here now. When they do their little showmanship at the beginning here, it's going to really show up in the night light. Over there with Brad, we have Heather Dryden. She's the crew chief for him. She travels with him. She tunes the car. She sets it up between rounds there. Brad basically just drives the car. He has the fun part. She does all the hard work.
Fire show time. Let's listen in and watch, race fans. All right, race fans, here we go. The final pass of our broadcast here tonight. Brad Janishewski out of Drayton Valley. Richard Smith out of Bend, Oregon. Rolling Thunder taking on Warhawk. Now, Smith actually has nailed Brad Janishewski twice here tonight. Can he make it a triple play?
I think that's what he's going to do here, possibly. He's just taking advantage of Brad's rookie's season and that, but... no.
Janishewski and Smith, the final in jet cars here tonight, and away we go. Smith and Janishewski are away, and we've had malfunction with Smith's race car. So Brad Janishewski
took one.
Will pick up the win, a 7:08, 189.39 miles an hour for Brad Janishewski. I think we had a flame out, I think is the terminology they use, in Richard Smith's Warhawk Jet Funny car. He runs a 787 and loses all that speed, the momentum, 108 miles an hour plus. Recapping our champions here tonight, Fox Hunt 2000 Top Alcohol Funny Car, John Evanchuk. Pro Alcohol Funny Car, Darrell Webb. We have the Top Alcohol Dragster and Serge Dion. Super Pro, Steve Sims. Our Pro Class, Adolph Sabarin. And our top speed of the night, congratulations, Richard Smith in the Warhawk, 244.29 miles an hour. He also got the best ET, running a 6:36. Fox Hunt 2000. The fans now, well, they know the show is over, Stan Ankers, and it was just an incredible night here at Budweiser Motorsports Park.
They're going home very happy, satisfied, and they'll be back for the next one.
And that next event stand will be Hot August night, the end of August. And, well, you and I have got a little bit of work left to do, don't we?
Yes, we do, Gord.
We're going to be back to wrap up the show right after this. the first major drag race event of the new millennium here, the Fox Hunt. Of course, you've witnessed many Fox Hunts events. This is my first Fox Hunt event, and special, very special.
It was, yeah. And of course, you did have to bring up that I've been to a few of these before, but yes, it was. Especially with Brad in the jet car, a local boy out of Drayton Valley here, Canada, Alberta's only licensed jet car driver. Just super. He had a good night and everything. He's happy with what happened here, and we're happy for him.
Too bad for Steve Sitko, though, unfortunately, that it was like an $80 part breaking inside his engine, and he couldn't make the final call. But then again, that's racing, unfortunately.
That's true. That's what happens. I mean, you know, sometimes it's those little things that can kill you and hurt you and that. But, you know, they still had a good night and everything. They're happy overall. But, you know, they'll be back. I know Steve will be back.
Definitely, and they will be back at our next televised NHRA drag race from Budweiser Motorsports Park, and it is the Snap-on Tools Hot August Night, all part of the Trilenium Industries Championship Oval and drag racing season here on Shaw Motorsports. Stan Ankers and I will be back covering the Hot August Night in August, and we hope to see you then. That's going to be an incredible night also, just like last year.
Oh, yes, it will, Gord. I know it'll even be better than last year. We had a little bit of problem with the weather at the tail end there and stuff like that, but it will be a great night.
Stan Ankers, thank you for joining me up in the announcer booth. Again, your insight to the sport of NHRA drag racing is much appreciated here on Shaw Motorsports.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Gord. I've enjoyed doing it. It's a lot of fun in that, and I get to see a different side of the drag racing now.
Indeed it is. Thank you again, Stan Ankers, and thank you at home for watching Trilenium Championship drag racing here on Shaw Motorsports. That is the end. 2000 Fox Hunt comes to a close. Good night from Budweiser Motorsports Park.